Why is it that some businesses soar to success and other ones struggle to meet their needs or meet their goals? Well, we've talked a little bit about philosophy, and we've talked about understanding where you're going and understanding your clients' wants and needs, but it's more than that. How you communicate and how effectively you communicate with the people that come in contact with your business is crucial in making yourself successful. The most important position in your company is not the leader, is not the director, is not the business owner or the office manager. The most important person in your company is the one that makes that first initial contact, that first impression. It's your receptionist. It's the person that's answering the phone and greeting the clients. In the days of technology, more and more people are relying on technology to answer the phone for them. Losing that personal contact is the biggest mistake you can make in your business. And in most cases, that personal contact stems or begins with the telephone. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the different types of communications you can make with your customers. Let's begin with a simple approach and follow the steps for leaving a message to somebody or for somebody that has requested information with your company. The first thing that they're going to want to do is they're going to want to identify their name and the company which they represent. The second thing that they're going to want to do is they're going to identify the reason for the call. Why are you calling them at that moment? The third thing that they're going to want to do is remind them of how you originally got their information. For instance, it could have come from a direct mail piece. It could have come from a bridal show. It could actually have been a request for information via the internet or a website request. If you identify these three key factors, then what you're going to do is you're going to take yourself one step closer to achieving a response for your message. And your goal is, if you're going to take the time to leave a message, to make it an effective one. The next thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you leave the phone number, even if you think they already have it. And don't just say it once, but make sure that they say it again. Repeat the number to make it easier for the client to get the information that's needed and to respond, which is your goal. Furthermore, you want to request a callback. You actually want to tell them why you're calling, what you're calling for, and then ask them to return your phone call. And lastly, you want to repeat the request to make their life a little easier. All of these things may seem like common knowledge. It may seem simple and it may seem pretty easy and basic to you, but if you can condition the people that are actually making these outbound calls to follow a step-by-step procedure and to do it over and over and over again until they begin to feel more comfortable with the calls, you will receive a higher response rate and you will actually become one step closer towards achieving your goal. Now, let's take a moment and listen to an outbound phone call.
Hi, this message is for Carrie. This is Kathleen calling with Jeff Hawkins Photography. Carrie, I wanted to touch base with you in regards to the wedding photography information that you had requested for this coming August and see if I might be able to help you out, answer some questions, and give you one less thing to worry about. If you could, please give me a call back at 407-834-8023. That's 407-834-8023. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks and have a great day.
When you're making phone calls, don't get discouraged if you do have to make several calls to get a hold of one person. It's part of the numbers game. Typically, you have to contact 15, maybe even 20 people to book one outgoing conversation or appointment. See, there's two different types of leads. You've got outbound leads and you've got incoming leads. An incoming lead is hot. They're excited. They're fresh. They went to your website, they saw something, and something stimulated a response to actually call your company right away and want more information about your services. An outbound lead, though, may have been hot at one time, but it depends on how long it's been since their request for information came through and how long it's been since you're making the phone call. It amazes me how many times I contact different businesses and leave messages and it takes them 48, 72 hours. Or I send an email request and they don't respond to me right away. So you have to keep in mind that the email or the website or the internet is the same as a telephone. It's used the same and should have the same urgency. Typically, if it's over 24 hours, those hot leads become colder. Regardless of whether or not it's an inbound call or an outbound call, there are still some basic procedures that you're going to want to follow. To begin, you're going to want to gather basic information. Now, this is your outline, this is your formula, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to listen to what they say. Be very, very careful when you're multitasking and you take an incoming call that you're actually hearing their words and you're actually relating and bonding with that client. If you're trying to do too many things at once, most likely it's the client that's going to suffer. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to build and gather some basic information. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to identify the lead source. This is really important when you're evaluating your advertising effectiveness or your marketing dollars and how effective they become. Find out how they heard about you. This can also tell you a lot about what their potential is. Again, we're not going to prejudge, but you want to educate yourself so you can kind of direct them where you need them to go. The next step that you're going to want to do is begin developing a rapport. How do you develop a rapport? You want to ask yourself questions, or you want to ask them questions. You want to listen to what they say. You want to respond to what they say. You want to actually really care about that person and realize there is no cookie cutter approach. You know, everything that we say and do and everything that we're sharing with you on this tape doesn't necessarily mean it's the only way. It's just a way that works for us. What you need to do is develop the interpersonal skills to be able to get to know your clients. Find out what their wants are, find out what their needs are, and begin developing that rapport. Once you create that connection, you've created a client, probably not just for one event, but for a lifetime. The next thing that you're going to want to do is express the purpose of an appointment. Why is it important that they meet with you? You know, they can look at your images online, and you can talk price over the phone, but what is the importance of getting together with them? Well, you know the importance of getting together with them is that if they're face-to-face, you are most likely going to increase your sales. But there's more to it than that. It's going to help you create that connection. If you don't have that bond, if you don't have that interaction with the client, you've got distractions. If you're just talking on the phone, they may have distractions. You know, the kids may be pulling at them. They may have a television on. They may be listening to another conversation. The same goes with your office. You may be multitasking and not really hearing what their wants and needs are. So express the need for an appointment. You also want to make sure that you ask for it. Begin expressing the need for it, but come out and directly ask for the appointment. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that you confirm the date and the time, reiterate it more than once, and then lead them to the next step. You're going to need to coach them on what they're going to need to be prepared for and what decisions you're going to want them to make at the time of the appointment. You also need to make sure that you follow up. Take the time to follow up. Send an email, perhaps send a card, a postcard reminder, and make sure that it's always confirmed 24 hours before the event. See, it doesn't do you a lot of good to have a bunch of appointments on the calendar and have a bunch of people not show. You need to know what's on your schedule and know what your revenue generating activities are each day for the next day. To help make sure that you stay on track and you actually follow each one of these steps, you may want to consider using a questionnaire or a consultation sheet and actually walking through each one of these steps. Actually listening to them and writing stuff down will also help you become a better listener and hear what they're saying. If you haven't already done so, download the files on your resource CD included with this tutorial so you can follow along with me. At this time, we're going to take a moment to listen to some of the outgoing phone calls.
Hello?
Hi, is Fedor there?
Yes, he is. May I ask who's calling?
Yes, this is Kathleen calling with Jeff Hawkins Photography.
Oh, yes, this is his fiancée,
Oh, hi. And what was your name?
Shoni.
Can you say that again?
Shoni.
Oh, that's very pretty.
Thank
very
you.
Nice name. Shoni, first I have to begin by informing you that this call may be recorded for educational purposes. Is that all right with you?
That's fine.
Okay, great. I just wanted to touch base with Theodore because he had sent me an email requesting some
Actually, I
information.
sent you the email.
Oh, okay. You just put his name
Yeah,
there.
he's going to be paying, so.
Okay, that's wonderful. Not a problem. Usually the groom's just the prop anyways. It's
Yeah,
all about
exactly.
the bride that day. Can you tell me a little bit more about your event?
Yes, we have, we've reserved the 5th of February 2005 at Tanner Hall. I don't know if you're
I am familiar with it. It's a great
Okay.
location.
Yeah, I know. We haven't actually seen the inside. We've just seen pictures of it from other receptions, but the times that we have that reserved are, oh my gosh, I think from 12 to 5.
Okay.
12 to 5, simply because, you know, we want the caterers to be able to set up and all that
Right.
in there while the wedding is still going on.
And are you going to have the wedding at the hall, or are you going to have the wedding?
No, the wedding is going to be at Victorious Living Fellowship.
Okay. And what time is your service?
It's at 12 noon.
At 12 noon.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Typically what we would do is we would start the event normally 2 hours prior to.
Mhm.
This way we can get the documentary-type portraiture of you getting ready and
Right,
your mom
right.
seeing you for the first time, putting on your veil, and all of those types of images that make and create all the emotions from your
Right.
event. So if we started at around 10 and then you had the service from 12 till, are you going to have a half an hour or a full hour service?
It's going to be a full hour.
Okay, so a full hour ceremony. Then you'll go from 12 to 1. You'll do your portraits. You can either do them prior to, or you can do them from 1 to like 1:30.
We were thinking maybe prior to the wedding, but well, some of the bridesmaids didn't want to get makeup messed up, which I was like, okay, the lady who's doing the makeup is going to be there. You know, if she needs to retouch you before the photos, that's fine.
Right.
That's fine. So we're kind of, debating if we're going to do the pictures before the ceremony or, I think afterwards. That gives, the caterers and all those people time to set up the reception before we get there.
Right.
So we can make our grand entrance.
There's a lot of things that you can do to be more flexible and to allow more time management, and Jeff would be more than happy to kind of talk to you about it a little bit more based upon your needs and choreograph it for you.
Okay.
A lot of times what couples will do is they'll do the private time with just the bride and groom prior to the ceremony and do all of your images. And, truthfully, it gives you and Theodore a chance to be alone together, which that may never happen again until 10 o'clock that night. So it gives you some space away from your relatives, but it also provides yourself with that moment of being just the two of you.
Okay.
When we do private time, we usually stage it at a location where if you have any bridal party members or any family members in the room, we ask them to leave. And then Jeff will capture you coming into the room and Theodore seeing you for the first time and capture those emotions and those reactions, and then Jeff will leave.
Okay.
And the rest of that moment will be your moment to pray together or to talk or to hug. And we've had couples stay in there for 2 minutes by themselves, and then we've had couples stay in there for 45 minutes by themselves.
Right.
It just really gives you a chance to kind of breathe. And
I like that idea.
One of the things that we'll talk about when you meet with Jeff is that typically we don't have time limits. So we'll start as early as you want, and we'll go till the conclusion of your event as long as there's planned activities taking place. What is important with you for photography? Are you looking for more of a photojournalistic or a traditional concept or a combination of both?
Probably a combination of both.
Okay. That's very popular with brides today. And I know you were on our website. Do you remember viewing our portfolio with Jeff's work and the associates' work?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was there one or the other that you were more partial to, or were you wanting to look at
Jeff. We really, really liked his, but the associates was really good as well.
Okay. The associates have worked with Jeff for the past a minimum of 4 years. They have at least 4 years worth of wedding photography experience. But the main difference between the two is experience. Doing it. Jeff's been photographing weddings for nearly 20 years and has won a lot of awards doing it. So that just takes time to get that experience under your belt and learn how to work in different situations, because weddings are all the same, but then they're all unique and different in their own way, and knowing how to respond to that and to be different that way. Are you guys located out in the Winter Garden area?
Actually, we're in Orlando, right near the Ocoee line here.
Okay, yeah, that new area is really nice. I love that road. It cuts out so much traffic. Well, what I would recommend that we do is that we schedule a time to get together so you can view Jeff's work in person, but also meet with Jeff.
Okay.
The photographer that you choose is one of the only vendors that will actually be with you from the very beginning of your day to the very end of your day. And making sure that your personalities mesh real well together is very important, because the cake person will come and go, the florist will come and go, but the photographer is going to be, the one that will be by your side.
Right.
Though he's going to be trying to be as discreet, and in the background as possible, you do want to make sure that your personalities match.
Okay.
What's usually better for you and your fiancé for a consultation, morning, afternoon, or evening?
Probably, he's off on next Friday. He has every other Friday off.
Okay.
So next Friday, is morning, afternoon, or noon, or so, whatever. Good for you. Morning is good for us.
Okay, next Friday would be June 18th, and we can do a 10 a.m. if that would work for you.
Yeah, 10 a.m. sounds good.
Okay, can you spell your name for me?
My name is spelled Chonnie. Last name is Cooper, and you have his name right.
Got it. Okay, and let me see. Is on the best email? Okay, because if you'd like, what I can do is email you directions.
Okay.
And that way you can just print them out. And I'll email you directions from the area of town that you're coming from directly here. We're located in Longwood, in the historic district of Longwood, if you're familiar with it at all.
Okay.
Right off of 434.
Okay. I should be able if I used to work over there.
Oh, okay. Do you know where the hospital is, South Seminole Hospital? Okay, we're right one block over from South Seminole Hospital. Okay, and the best number to reach you at is 407-297-1490?
Yes.
Okay, fabulous. Well, what I have you down for is June 18th at 10 a.m. And what we'll do is just sit down and chat a little bit, and you'll take a closer look at Jeff's work, and you'll meet with him personally. Now, something that you may want to keep in mind, Shoni, is that in order to lock in the wedding date, there is a $1,000 retainer.
Okay.
That date locks in not only the wedding date, but it also locks in the prices for up to 2 months following the date of your wedding.
Okay.
Which is great because you're starting early enough that
Right.
I can almost bet you the lab will have an increase between now and, say, January of next year.
Okay.
So you would be locking in the prices, and if there was a change, it would be absorbed by us and not by you.
Right.
The $1,000 does go towards the purchase of products, so you don't lose that money. But that would be the first decision that you would have to make. So if there's a family member or someone other than Theodore that would be helping you make this decision, you may want to chat with them and talk to them a little bit about what you're doing before you come here, but also see if they might be able to join you as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, fabulous. Well, my name is Kathleen, and if you don't get an email from me the next time you check your email, that means I typed something wrong. So please give me a call back.
I will do that.
All right, thank you so much, and have a great weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's just take a moment and review the steps. That was a pretty simple call. It was an outbound call, and once I got to the right person, not necessarily the person that had requested information on the website, then she was able to walk through each one of those steps to come to the ultimate conclusion of scheduling the appointment, which, as you know, was our goal. Something that you want to keep in mind is there were two things that I spent a little bit more time on, and I want to talk about that now. The first thing is I asked a lot of questions in regards to the timing and how much coverage she thought she would actually need. In her web request, she had said that she only needed 4 or 5 hours. So I wanted to really discuss that. See, if it's 4 or 5 hours and it's on a prime Saturday, then Jeff may not be available to cover that. So I may have led her or directed her more towards the associate coverage. However, once I got to talk to her a little bit more, she really did need it for more than 12 to 5. She probably needed it from 10 to 5, maybe even 9 to 5. So once I examined that and I realized that, yes, Jeff was the person that she actually wanted to work with, then we went right into scheduling the consultation. And I also went right into painting the picture. If you notice, when I started talking about her event and asking her questions, and when I talked about Jeff, I did a couple of things. I built him up and I talked about him being at her event, assuming that he was actually going to cover it, and I used his name more than once. See, when you do that, you don't want to just talk about the photographer or the business at reference. You want to reference them by name. So you want to make sure it's him and not just anybody. So keeping that in mind, so again, what you're going to do is you're going to want to ask for the contact. You're going to want to make sure that you identify yourself and the company and remind them of how they heard about you or where you got their information. You want to make sure that you identify the purpose of the call, that you're calling them back because they had asked for information and you want to answer their questions. You also want to make sure that you ask them open-ended questions. An open-ended question is a question that's going to give you more information than just a yes or a no. See, if you ask people questions and you pause and wait for the response and act like you really care, then they'll really listen. It's funny because sometimes they'll say, I don't know, or I'm not sure, because they want to know if you really, really want an answer or if you're just asking the question just to ask it. So make sure that you ask questions about their event, talk to them about their event, give them positive verbal feedback, and then mention the importance of scheduling a meeting. Mention what you can do when you get together. In this case, what we did is we talked about how we needed to make sure that her personality and the photographer's personality meshed well together. Once you've mentioned the importance for the meeting, then ask to schedule the appointment. Follow some basic steps. When you ask to schedule the appointment, you want to make sure that you first begin by directing them to where you want to go. See, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good if you're just going to say, well, when would you like to come in? Well, you pick a time, or any time on Tuesday is good for me, because if you respond like that, you don't seem very busy. If you worked for a high-powered attorney, or if you ran a very busy doctor's office, it may take 2 weeks to work you in. Somebody that's just sitting around waiting for somebody to come into their business obviously isn't as successful as someone that's got appointments that are scheduled back to back. So you want to direct them as to where you want to go, so only you know what your schedule's like. You begin by doing that by asking them, what is better for you, the beginning of the week or the end of the week? And then once you know what their schedule looks like and what's better for them, the next question that you say, morning, afternoon, or evening. Morning, afternoon, or evening is going to direct you as to what time would be best. And then give them 2 choices, and only 2 choices. Monday at 10 a.m. or Tuesday at 3. Which would you prefer? Once you've done that, you're leading them to where you want to go, and you're one step closer to making the sale. You actually ask questions for more than one reason. You ask questions to develop a rapport, but you also have to ask questions to find out more about their event. See, often people will call, and the first words out of their mouth will be, I want to know more about your packages, or how much does this cost? And your gut instinct is to answer their question. How can you quote something if you don't have all the information? How can you tell them how much something's going to cost if you didn't ask all the questions? And more importantly, if you quote something and they don't have all the information, you can lead into misinterpretations and problems and obstacles in the future. Let's take a look at another outbound call, one that may not go so smoothly.
Hello? Hi, is Priscilla there?
This is?
Priscilla, hi. This is Kathleen calling with Jeff Hawkins Photography. I am returning your phone call in regards to the information you requested from our website.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have just a moment? I know I'm calling you at your work number.
This is actually my cell number.
Your cell number? Okay. Is this okay then? Do you have just a moment?
Sure, go ahead.
Great. Well, first I need to begin by informing you that this call may be monitored or recorded for educational and training purposes. Is that all right with you? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're having a wedding out at the Disney Wedding Pavilion. That's a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
Have you picked a date yet, or are you still kind of up in the air?
We're still kind of up in the air because we haven't said anything concrete yet, but we're thinking somewhere along the lines of 2005.
Okay, so somewhere and you were looking at October of 2005?
Yes.
Okay, do you have any preference as to whether or not it's going to be a weekday or a weekend function?
We're looking right now. I'm not sure. This probably doesn't help because I'm not sure how yours is structured because I know Disney says weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That is correct.
So we're thinking probably on more or less a Friday.
Okay.
Type thing.
Okay. Do you have a lot of relatives coming in from out of the area?
No, it's actually going to be relatively small.
Oh, okay. Well, very good. Sometimes the smallest, more intimate functions, you have a lot more images because people feel more comfortable with one another. They're more intimate. They're more emotional. They're more likely to cry or laugh or hug because it's not like 300 strangers in a room.
Right.
But we do work at the Whitehall Room a lot. I mean, we're out at Disney at least once a month. Have you been to the unofficial Disney website yet?
Yeah.
Disney Motor site? Okay. You can go to the wedding review section, and they haven't updated it in a while, but there is one of our older weddings that we actually did in the Whitehall Room there, or that had the reception there, is featured on that site.
Oh, really?
The couple's last name, I believe, is Cenker, Cenker. So you might want to check out their review section and see some of the work that we've done. But we do book brides from all over the nation, all the time, so we would definitely be able to work with you. Not having a date, it would be a little bit hard, especially at this point, because I know you can't lock in anything with Disney before a year in advance.
Right.
Or it may even be 8 months. Is it 8 months or a year?
They can't hold anything. Like they put a courtesy hold, I think, a year in advance. It's 12 months to the date, and then 4 months later, at 8 months, they do the lottery if needed, and then they send out the contract, and then we review it, we sign it, and we send in our initial deposit. And from then on, it's technically 8 months.
Okay.
That's how we know we officially have the date.
Well, thank you for clearing that up, because I heard both, and I wasn't really sure what it was.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that if you are looking for at a Monday, or if you consider a Monday through a Thursday function, you can save some money when booking with Jeff, because those are rarities, I should say. So most of our couples do Friday, Saturday, or Sunday events. We do a lot of custom weekend events.
Right.
So if finance becomes a concern in working with Disney properties, it may, then you may want to take a look at a Monday through Thursday function. But basically what you're looking at is a starting pricing level for one of our associates for a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday function starting at about $1,800.
Okay.
Starting pricing level for Jeff starting at $2,500, and then it's going to go up from there depending upon what type of album you choose and the quantity of images and the quantity of products that you want to receive with that.
Let's stop for a moment and evaluate or look back and reflect upon some of the different things that are happening in this call right now. A couple of things. She doesn't really know where her ceremony is going to be. She isn't concrete on where her reception is going to be. She has no idea what day of the week it's going to fall or even what month it's going to fall. And it's over 15 months in advance. If you try and spend too much time or energy in going through detailed information with her, it could be just a time waster and it could be an energy sucker. So you want to make sure that you take the time to give general information. You want to make sure that you email her general information and you build the benefit of the studio and maybe the services involved with the studio. Educate her, because this is an educational process, and without information, that's all she's looking to do. She's not ready to buy. So take that information, educate her a little bit, give her some basic general information, but don't quote or don't lock yourself into pricing to packages or product options, because over 15 months in advance, anything can happen and anything can change. It's also very important that you put this information in a tickler system or a follow-up system. So 3 months from now, you can take the time to call her and say, we spoke a while back. Have you made any decisions? Have you picked a wedding date yet? Are you for sure coming down to the Central Florida area? And then begin proceeding with the system. I strongly encourage you to reevaluate if you're booking people more than a year in advance, because your retention ratio is not going to be as high. And if you are, there's no problem with that, but you might want to take a closer look at what retention steps have you implemented or put in process to make sure that those people actually follow through and you don't end up reserving a time on your calendar and turning away other business and having them cancel.
We do have smaller functions that if you were doing something Monday through Thursday and you just needed 2 hours or 4 hours worth of coverage, there are smaller items that we can work with. But the items I just quoted you with would be for more of a 6-hour or on an 8-hour day average.
Okay.
With no image limits and, more of a complete ceremony and reception. Okay, what I would recommend that you do, Priscilla, is as it gets closer to your event, you know a little bit more about what you're searching for. I know I emailed you some general information, and I'll keep your paperwork on file and follow up with you as it gets closer to October. But then once we know exactly what day you're looking at and what's important to you as far as coverage is concerned, then what we can do is custom create a quote that fits your needs and go from there. Okay. Now, what I can tell you is once you pick a date, or come October when you at least have an idea of what date you're looking at, there's a $1,000 retainer that will lock in your date, and it will also lock in our current pricing, whatever pricing levels that we quote you with, products and prints and albums and all of that. So if you did that this October, you can almost guarantee that there'll be a price increase between now and October of 2005. So the big advantage to you there is the price increase, or the difference would be absorbed by us and not by you.
Okay.
And that $1,000 does go towards the purchase of your products.
Okay.
So I'll keep your paperwork on file, and you give me a call as soon as you know what date you're looking at, and then we'll proceed from there and see how we might be able to work with you.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I think that's, if I think of anything, I'll give you a call.
Okay. All right, wonderful. All right, I look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
In summary, if they don't know where they're going and they don't know what they want and they don't have a plan yet, then you can give general information, just basic information, to get them started or to begin educating them on the process. Make sure you take the time to follow up with them in the future so your lead doesn't go wasted, but don't spend too much energy or time now. File your request, keep it for a few months later, and then make sure you follow up with it. Now let's take a look at another person. This person actually booked the appointment, and it went a little smooth. I want you to pay attention to what I did when I talked to this person. I made a point to add vocular pauses. See, if you get to the point where you're sounding too rehearsed or too smooth or it's just too perfect, it's okay to add ums into your dialogue to make it a little bit more natural or a little bit more effective. The next call that you'll hear is actually a response to a few different sets of email dialogue. The first thing is this young lady had sent me an email of general information request. I followed up with a general information response and a phone call. You can view a copy of the standard email by referencing your resource CD. Once I sent her that standard email, which it does close with a request for an appointment, she responded back wanting to schedule an appointment. At that time, she requested an appointment via email, and what you're about to hear is my response to that email request.
Hello? Hi, is Patty there?
This is me.
Patty, hi, this is Kathleen calling with Hawkins Photography. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I do have to let you know that this call may be monitored for training and development purposes. Is that okay?
Fine.
Okay. So I got your message, and I got your email as well, and I'm glad that you guys are going to be coming into town. What is your email address? Let me find that so I have all your information
It's PATTID.
Okay.
123.
Okay,
At
let
Yahoo.
me... Okay, there. So you were looking at anytime, like I guess Tuesday the 10th or the 11th? Is that what you were thinking?
Well, the 10th is our planning session with Disney.
Okay, and that will pretty much take all day.
Yeah, that's
so
what they said. It'd be all day. So.
We should probably look at then the 11th, which is fine. Now, did you get the email that said that we are going to have a camera crew here?
Yeah, that's
training.
fine.
That's not a problem for you?
No.
All right, wonderful. Well, then what would be better for you, morning, afternoon, or evening?
Morning, I think. Do you have Thursday available?
Let me see.
Any chance? Whatever that is, the 12th.
The 12th?
Just curious.
The only time we would have more flexibility on Wednesday. The time that we would have on Thursday, because we do have several portrait sessions that day, we could do a 5 o'clock.
Okay, no, we better do Wednesday.
Okay.
No, see, we're only going to be there for 4 days, so we're trying to vacation.
Oh, so you want to have some fun, too.
We're like, let's spend as little time as possible planning. But
I understand. Where are you coming from, Patty?
We're coming from Maryland.
Maryland. Beautiful location. Jeff and I are actually speaking up there in the first of the year. So we get up there quite frequently to do different seminars and things like that. So you'll still be able to take advantage of our Lifetime Portrait Program membership, which gives you the complimentary sessions in the future. So anytime we come up there, we'll send you an email and let you know that we're going to be up that way. So on Wednesday the 11th, did you say what would be better, morning, afternoon, or evening?
No, I didn't say. It doesn't. I guess morning.
Morning, okay. We can do a 10 o'clock or an 11 o'clock. Which would you prefer?
Let's go ahead and do 10.
Okay. And it's Patty Davis?
Yes.
Patty Davis, okay.
Patricia officially, but
okay. And what is your fiance's name, Patricia?
George.
Okay. What do you prefer, Patty or Patricia?
Patty.
Okay. Patty. And your wedding date was, again?
December 15th.
Okay, of this year, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it's going to be at Disney?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful location. Are you going to have it in the pavilion?
Yes.
Okay, and where's your reception going to be at?
The American Adventure Epcot.
Oh, very nice. Have you been to the unofficial Disney website yet?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's where I read about you.
Oh, well, good. There is actually the Rotundo Wedding Review. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay, good. And McCafferty was another one that was done in the American Adventure Pavilion. Okay. And both of those weddings were photographed by us and were reviewed in detail. Now, they're older because they haven't updated that site, but it'll still give you an idea as to how we work and what people say. Okay, and what's the best number? Do you have a cell phone number or something just in case I need to reach you?
So
okay.
443.
Okay.
350.
Okay. Okay, and would it be okay if I emailed you directions to the studio?
Absolutely, that would be great.
Okay.
I'm copying everything now, putting it in a folder. So.
Okay, fabulous. Well, I'm going to go ahead and email you directions now, so if for some reason you don't get them the next time you check them, just give me a call back and let me know.
Okay.
But otherwise, I have you down for Wednesday the 11th at 10 a.m., and we'll just sit down and chat a little bit. We'll talk a little bit more about what you're looking for. You can view the different album styles and hopefully give you one less thing to worry about between now and your day in December.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks so much for calling, Patty.
All right,
take care. Bye.
Bye.
Before making your phone call, be sure to take the time to look at the information request, review all of the required information, and know what you're talking about before you make the phone call. If you're using the phone questionnaire, you may even choose to, at that time, take the web request and transfer all the information from the web request onto the interview questionnaire. Otherwise, you're just using the phone consultation sheet as a guide to arm you with more information and to keep you on track. You know, another important thing that we need to take into consideration when making outbound phone calls is that often you may be calling people at work or on their cell phone. They may be doing other things. So it's really important that you, in the beginning of the call, if you sense any hesitation in their voice, you make sure that it's a good time for them and you ask permission to continue with the conversation. Otherwise, they may rush you off with an objection that wouldn't have been an objection, or it wouldn't have been a negative or unsuccessful call if you would have called them at a better time. Let's listen to another call now.
Hi, is Robin there?
Speaking.
Robin, hi. This is Kathleen calling with Jeff Hawkins Photography. How are you doing today? Good. How are you? Good, good. You had requested some wedding photography information from us, and I just wanted to call you back and see if I might be able to help you. Do you have just a moment?
Actually, I'm at work right now, so is there any way you could call back maybe later this weekend?
Sure. Is this a good number to reach you at then?
Yes.
Okay. Is this your cell phone number? Okay, fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll give you a call back then. Sometime I'll be in the office tomorrow. If not, I'll try again on Monday evening.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Robin. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Though that call was short, you may have noticed the tone in her voice, the response, and the way she was answering my questions. Even by the initial hello, she was hesitant. She wasn't excited to hear from me. Make sure that you listen to the vibe. Make sure you feel the vibe that you're getting, and listen to their tone. Listen to if they're excited, or if they answer your question short and abruptly, or if they continue in a more excited fashion. All of those things are going to be clues to whether or not you're moving closer to the appointment. Let's try another one.
Hello? Hi, is Kathleen there?
This is she.
Kathleen, hi. This is Kathleen calling with Jeff Hawkins Photography. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you. First of all, I do have to let you know that this call may be monitored for educational purposes. Is that all right with you?
That's fine.
Okay. I'm just returning your email request, I guess, for your wedding that's coming up at Cypress Grove Park.
Yes.
That's a beautiful location. My husband and I got married there ourselves. Have you already selected a wedding photographer? Are you still in the searching
not yet.
process?
Just looking right now.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about what you're looking for. Like, do you have any idea what type of coverage you're wanting or how much time you're looking at?
Probably around 5 hours coverage. Or, well, I guess it's 4 hours for the ceremony and the reception, and then I was kind of looking for pictures getting ready and stuff like that, so.
Okay. And I noticed that you're going to have a smaller party in attendance, a smaller amount of people there.
Right.
It's going to be more of an intimate function for you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, wonderful. Well, Jeff is already booked on that Saturday, so it would depend upon what time of the day that your function would start as to whether or not he would be able to help you. But we do have an associate photographer. Actually, we have 2 associate photographers that we work with that would be more than happy to assist you. Do you remember being on our website, jeffhawkins.com?
I remember being on many websites.
Okay, yeah, it's a very overwhelming process, I can imagine. On jeffhawkins.com, there is an associates portfolio section, and both of the associates that we work with do have experience working with Jeff and have been trained by Jeff. And the main thing is all the images post-production go through an artist-rendered process, which is processed by Jeff. So that's how you have a lot of the similar look to what his images actually look to, that gives the look of our studio. What I can do, if you would like, is we can do a couple of different things. We can either schedule a time for you to come to the studio to sit down and take a closer look at the associate portfolios and sit down and chat with you a little bit more about what you're looking for and try and customize a level that fits for you. I also just sent you an email with some different options on what is involved in order to hire our studio and to book an associate. One of the big advantages to you starting so early in the process is that you, once you lock in a retainer or lock in an associate, you're locking in the current pricing for up to 2 months following the date of your event. So that's a big advantage because in January, most labs and albums companies, have price increases. So if that happens, it's absorbed by us and not by you.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions that I might be able to answer for you?
Included in the email, is there any pricing? I don't know if I remember seeing any on the website or not.
All of our pricing levels are going to be customized more to fit your needs. I can tell you with our associate levels, depending upon how much coverage you want, if you're looking at about 5 hours of coverage, you're going to be looking at about $1,200 as a starting pricing point, and then it'll fluctuate up from there depending upon what type of album you choose and the quantity of images that you select. But the $1,200 level is pretty much the basic level that you're looking at to hire our services, and that is explained in the email that I sent to you. Would you and your fiancé be available for a consultation, a visit to the studio?
More so me than him because I have more time off.
Okay. The grooms are usually just the props anyways. Don't tell them that, but it's your day. Women usually plan it all their lives, and they don't.
Yeah, so, I don't know. As of right now, I haven't thought about it yet, so okay. I'm just kind of looking at different prices and seeing what's in the budget and everything like that.
Okay. Do you know what kind of budget that you're going to be looking at?
Probably no more than $1,000, so.
Okay. Well, I do encourage you. It is a very educational process, and I know that there's actually a book that's out there that I published. It's called A Bride's Guide to Photography. You might want to check out. But I do encourage you to take a look at, when you go to make this decision, 3 different photographers, one that's more in a lower range, a middle range, and a higher end. Because wedding photography is the one thing that you can't redo. And I know our processing cost, our cost just for covering the event is more than that. So there's something to be said in the difference between consumer products that you're getting and professional products. So that is something that you might want to see. And if you go and if you shop and if you look at and you educate yourself on the lower end, the middle end, and the higher end range, if you don't see a difference, then you need to jump on the lower end one, because that's a good thing. But usually you'll see a substantial difference, and you don't get a second chance to make that right. Okay. All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck. And if you need anything or if you have any other questions, feel free to give me a call back.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
In hindsight, I could have probably handled that call a little bit different, but the vibe that I was getting from the way she initially answered her phone through the completion of the call was that she was real nonchalant. She really didn't care that much. She wasn't passionate. She wasn't even emotional about anything that I asked her or about any of the questions or any of her responses. So in hindsight, I could have maybe, when she mentioned the website and she had seen others, sent her to the website. Maybe I could have talked to her a little bit more about building up the benefits and the services of the studio. In that particular situation, because of the way she responded to the questions and her short, abrupt answers, I just felt as though it wasn't the connection that was right for us. So if you get to a point where you've done your best and you still asked for the appointment and it's just not coming together, don't get discouraged. The bottom line is you have to get through the no's in order to get closer to the yeses. Based on the law of averages, you will typically talk to 5 people before getting closer to 1. The quicker you respond to a lead, the hotter the lead will be. So always try and respond to their need the moment you get the request. At this time, we're going to listen to a few more outgoing calls, but I'm not going to evaluate it. Instead, I want you to do that. Follow along with each steps, because the more you hear it, the more repetitious it becomes, the more comfortable and natural you will feel implementing them into your business.
So you have a wedding coming up in January?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. And how did you hear about us?
I was just typed in an internet search
Okay.
for Orlando wedding photography.
Okay, so you did visit our website then?
And I filled out the form.
Okay, wonderful. And your event's on January 22nd?
Correct.
Okay. All right, fabulous. Tell me a little bit about your event. Like, what type of ceremony are you going to have? What type of reception are you going to have?
We're going to have it at Loma United Methodist Church.
Okay.
At about 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And then our cocktail hour starts at 6 over at our reception at the Marriott by the airport.
Okay.
And that goes until midnight.
Okay.
But we won't need a photographer until then because everything's pretty much done, you know.
You're going to have everything at the reception done like within the first couple of hours or so?
Probably by 10 o'clock, 10:30 or so.
Okay. And what type of style appeals to you more? More of a photojournalistic or a traditional style or a combination of both?
Of both. I like the traditional, like, you know, with the family and the formal shots. And then I also like the photojournalistic style as well.
Okay. Have you met with any other photographers as of yet?
Not yet.
Okay. It does sound like you have a lot of planning already done, like as far as having your timeline mapped out anyways. Where is everybody going to be? Actually, let me back up. How many people are in your bridal party?
3 on my side and 3 on John's side.
Okay. And do you have any young kids that are going to be in the party?
Just 1 ring bearer.
Okay. And where is everybody going to be getting ready at?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Okay. Typically what we like to do, Angela, is we start a couple of hours prior to the ceremony, the beginning time of the ceremony. Because a lot of our brides, especially if you like a combination of the photojournalistic and traditional, like the documentary images of you getting ready, your mom seeing you putting on your veil for the first time, or all the little details, like the shoes and the earrings and necklaces and, you know, you seeing your flowers for the first time and all of those things. So typically we would start as early as 3 o'clock, or at least 2 hours early prior to the ceremony.
Okay.
It really depends on how much you want to get done beforehand and, you know, how many images you want to capture or how much time you have between the ceremony and the reception.
Right.
And all of that can be worked out between now and January. As it gets closer, you'll know where you're going to be and, you know, who all's coming and what all formals you want and things like that. I know you saw the images on our website, but what I'd like to do is make a suggestion as to see if we can schedule a time where you can get together to meet with Jeff personally and view the albums and see our work in person, so you can get a feel for what style of album you like and what style of coverage and what images you appreciate the most, so he can relate to you a little bit more that way.
Okay.
What's usually best for a consultation for you, morning, afternoon, or evening?
Afternoon, Monday through Thursday, and any time, afternoon and evening on Friday.
Okay. Let's start by looking at Monday through Thursday, and when you say afternoon, what would be the earliest time that you could meet, and I'll look at our calendar for you.
About 1:30 or 2.
Oh, okay. I could do a 2 o'clock on June 24th, which would be this Thursday. Otherwise, I can look at Friday, July 2nd in the afternoon for you. Which one of those times would be better for you?
Let's see, you're saying this Thursday, June 24th?
Yes, at 2 o'clock. Yes, I'm sorry, I do have a 3:30 that day.
I could do that.
Okay, so that would be this Thursday. We'll aim for 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And I'll make sure that Jeff is available to meet with you as well.
Okay.
And Angela, I know you were on our website and you sent in a web request. Is the email address that you gave me there at the best address to email you directions to?
Correct.
Okay. All right, what I'll do is email you directions right now. So if the next time you check your email, if you don't have an email with directions, please give us a call back, because that means something went wrong or it's lost in internet space.
Okay.
But I've got you down then for Thursday at 2 o'clock, and we'll sit down and chat with you a little bit more and hopefully give you one less thing to worry about between now and the wedding day.
Okay.
If you decide to lock in the date and to retain our services here at the studio, there is a $1,000 retainer that locks in the date. That also locks in the prices for up to 2 months after the date of the wedding, which typically in January there's always a lab or an album increase. So if there would be one, you would be locking in the prices now, and any difference would be absorbed by us and not by you. That retainer does go towards the purchase of products, though, so you don't lose that. And that will give you the entire day, because whenever Jeff books a wedding, we always book it with no time limit, so you can start as early as you want us to through the end of your event, as long as there's planned activities happening.
Yeah, I was going to also ask, so it's all day long, and is it unlimited rolls of film during that time?
We have no time limits or image limits, and Jeff does work with an assistant. Okay. So it will be Jeff as well as an assistant, so you may have dual coverage at different periods throughout the day.
Right.
And we do a combination of, black and white, color, sepia, special effects. When you view our portfolio on Thursday, you'll see that the different ways that as an artist, Jeff can render your images to give you a unique look. The amount of images is really just going to be based upon the pulse of your party. I mean, sometimes we can do hundreds of images at a reception, and sometimes the group's a little bit more low-key, and, we can do a couple hundred images. But typically at a wedding, we can capture between 500 and 1,000 images at an average event. We have done over 1,600, though, so it really just depends on how animated your bridal party is, and how much they party and dance, and how emotional your guests are during the ceremony, because that allows for more than just the traditional type of images to be captured.
And at that time, when I'm doing the portfolio, will it be like the packages that you can get and how much they cost and that sort of thing?
Yes, you'll custom create a pricing level based upon the album style that you like, based upon the quantity of images that you're looking for. We don't believe in a cookie-cutter approach, because everybody likes different styles of albums.
Right.
And we have albums that start at 500, and we have albums that go up to 5,000. So once you see an album that you relate to, and then you see the style of images that you like, how big of a picture person are you? Are you a huge picture person, or are you just looking for quality and maybe not quantity?
Right.
And those will be all things that you'll be able to decide once you see all of your different options. And then what we can do is we can, customize a pricing level for you, but really all of the different product options won't need to be determined until right before your wedding day. Because what you'll do is you'll be locking in the current prices, and then you can, make all of those decisions as it gets closer to your event.
Okie dokie. And how long does the meeting approximately last?
Probably about 45 minutes. It really just depends on how many questions you have to ask.
Right.
But we've, been with couples for half an hour, and we've been with couples for an hour and a half. So, but on an average, it's usually about 45 minutes.
let's see. Okay. And I'm not coming with my other half because he's working, but
Okay.
I figured if he would need to come back, then he could come back and look too, right?
Okay, yeah, absolutely, not a problem at all. And something that you may want to keep in mind too, I'll give you a newsletter while you're here, but when you hire our services to cover your event, you also receive an engagement portrait session. And we are doing portrait sessions the weekend of 9th, 10th, and 11th in St. Pete Beach. So if you or your fiance were interested in attending that and doing your engagement portrait session, then whenever we go to the beach to do a session on location, we do not charge a travel charge, and we invite all of our couples at once. We'll go to the beach at any time, but if we're making a special trip for you, then there would be an additional travel charge.
I see.
So look at your calendar, and it is based first come, first served. So when you're here, then maybe we can schedule a time for you to participate in that.
Okay.
People usually like the West Coast because then you don't have to get up at 5 a.m.
Right.
You can do a session in the late afternoon or get a sunset session in the evening and capture some really neat engagement portrait or images that document, that you're from Florida.
Right.
So,
how late do your appointments go till? What's your latest appointment that you have?
We do evening appointments. We do up until 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So we can schedule a 6 or a 7:30 at the latest. Do you want me to take a look at the availability for some evening time so your fiance can come?
In case I wanted to change, and when I talked to John, if he would want to come too.
Okay, here, hold on just a second. Let me save this just in case.
Okay.
Yes. The next evening appointment we can do Tuesday the 29th, and we have an availability at 7 o'clock that day.
It actually has to be on a Friday.
Okay. Friday evening our office closes at 5 just because we work every Saturday. If it was an evening appointment, it would be Monday through Thursday.
Are there any Thursdays
Thursday evening?
before the 29th? Or July 1st? I'm a graduate student at FSU, and I have online classes.
Oh, wow.
So I have a new one kicking in this month. So they're all every evening.
Okay. I do have we're already booked this because there's only 2 Thursdays between now and the 1st, and I do have both Thursdays already booked. However, what I can do is have my assistant call and confirm the appointments for this next Thursday, and see if there's any flexibility or if something opens up. And if something does open up, then I will give you a call back and we'll see if we can work you into the calendar.
Okay. If not, I can just come on the 24th at 2. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. I'll have her call now and confirm those appointments for the 24th and give you a call back and let you know either way.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Incoming inquiries that are actually answered are much easier than outbound calls, simply because the caller is enthusiastic. They're excited. They've taken the time to initiate an action and inquire about more information. At this time, let's take a moment and just review some incoming lead calls.
Does he have packages by chance?
We'd be happy to help you with that, Teresa. I do have to let you know that this call may be recorded for educational and training purposes. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And when is your wedding date?
July 2nd of 2005.
Okay. Let me first check that availability for you. How did you hear about us?
Actually, from the collection in Winter Park.
Oh, well, great. That's a great location. That's where I got my wedding dress. Did you get your dress there?
Well, not yet, but possibly.
You found something that you like?
I found something that I like, but I need my dad to see it before we do that.
Oh, well, that sounds special. Where's your wedding going to be held at?
It will be at St. James, downtown.
Okay. And the reception?
Lake Nona Country Club.
Okay, another beautiful location there. Well, great. Well, I did just check, and we are available on July 2nd.
Great.
So we'd be happy to help you out. Have you been to our website yet, Teresa?
I did. I checked you guys out there, and I do love the pictures that are on there.
Well, good, good. Do you have any idea what style that you preferred, photojournalistic, traditional coverage, or a combination of both?
A combination of both. I do want some formal pictures just for my parents and grandparents and things like that, but I'm really interested in the photojournalistic.
Okay. And what time of the day is your ceremony going to be starting?
2 p.m.
2 p.m. Okay. Typically, what we would do is we would usually start a couple of hours prior to. With Jeff's services, all of our levels have no time limits, and he always works with an assistant. So you actually can have dual coverage at different parts of your day.
Great.
We also have no image limit, so we capture whatever happens continuously throughout the day, from all the details, all of the getting ready images, the ceremony images. Of course, we will do formal portraiture either before your ceremony or after, whichever you prefer.
Great, okay.
And those are all things that Jeff can talk to you about and customize and personalize for you a little bit more.
Okay.
Our starting package level for a custom weekend function is going to start at $2,500, and then it'll go up from there, depending upon what style of album you choose. On our products page of our website, you can view some of the different options that you have. It's usually easiest to look at them in person because they change so much and you can't do them justice online.
Right.
But then it's also going to change depending upon the quantity of images that you select and the size of the book that you select. Those different things will be customized for you. We don't believe in the cookie-cutter approach to weddings because every bride wants different things. And some people include their parents, some people don't. Those are all different things that we can customize and create a level that works best for you.
I want to stop and I want to reference two things here. You may have wondered why I took the time and went into a little bit more information in regards to pricing. I was pre-qualifying this candidate. See, she actually mentioned 3 different venues. One would be St. James, one is Lake Nona, which is the country club she's getting married at, and the other is the Collection, which is the place that she was selecting her or looking at a dress and where she heard from us or heard about us. The thing that you need to keep in mind is all 3 of those things, because we're familiar with the vendors and the venues in our community, the thing that you need to keep in mind is all 3 of those vendors are very high-end establishments. So I wanted to make sure that her budget was right along our price point and prepare her one more step closer towards making a commitment by using our services. My tone of voice was a little bit different with this call. I wasn't as high and as low in the communication. I was mirroring her response. Now, another call that you heard was somebody that was kind of low-key and nonchalant. This bride, however, was low-key, but she still answered all of the questions in a very receptive fashion. She's just more laid back in her tones. So mirror the responses to them and mirror the communication to them, and don't be all bubbly and enthusiastic if they're real laid back and, even-toned. The other thing that you want to keep in mind is in the beginning she said that she went to the collections, she looked at a dress, but she didn't want to pick it out until her dad had a chance to see it, which means her parents are the buying power, and they're very involved in the decision. So you'll see that when we start talking about the appointment, that we talk about the importance of having the buying power as part of the presentation.
Do your parents live in the Central Florida area?
They do.
Okay, good. And your fiancé lives here as well?
He sure does.
Okay, great. What I would probably recommend that we do is that we take a look at the calendar and see when we might be able to schedule a time for you to visit the studio.
That was my next question.
Okay, good. And you're welcome to bring your fiancé or your parents, whichever you prefer.
Okay.
The more heads, the better, because a lot of times it will help you remember things when you're actually thinking things out. What's usually best for you, morning, afternoon, or evening?
Evening after work. Is that possible, like around 6 o'clock?
Definitely. Let me look and see when our next evening appointment could be.
Okay.
Okay. It looks like the next evening that we would have available would be next Tuesday the 29th.
Okay.
Or following Monday the 5th.
Let's do Tuesday the 29th.
Okay, and we could do 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Which would you prefer?
Let's do 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Tuesday the 29th at 6. Okay, and I have, online you guys have your address, 327 Walnut Street, Longwood?
That is correct. We're in the historic district of Longwood, right off of 434. If you would like, Teresa, do you have access to an email address, and I'll email you directions?
That would be perfect.
Okay, and what is your email address?
It's TR
okay.
at AOL.
TRTIGER. Sorry, the phone rang. Again, what is your last name, Teresa?
Ryerson. You spell that RYERSON.
Okay. And a phone number just in case I need to reach you.
Okay, 407. That's my cell phone.
Okay. And I have you down for Tuesday, June 29th at 6 o'clock. And this is for a wedding consultation for your event that's going to be held July 5th. Is that what you said?
July 2nd.
July 2nd. Okay. I had shifted screens by that point of next year. And what we'll do at that time is just kind of give you a chance to sit down and meet with Jeff personally and take a look at the different portfolios. Now, if you did decide that you wanted to retain his services for that day, there's a $1,000 retainer that locks in the date of your event, but it also locks in the current pricing for up to 2 months following the date of the wedding. And that's a big bonus when you're starting this early in the planning process, because the chances of there being an increase between now and, August of 2005 are huge. If there is an increase, it's absorbed by us and it's not absorbed by you. So that's just something that you want to keep in mind. Now, that $1,000 does go towards the purchase of products, so you don't just lose that money. It's just a deposit towards that purchase.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'm going to email you directions right now, so if for some reason you don't get them the next time you check your email, give me a call back, because that means I typed in something wrong. Okay. But otherwise, we'll see you next Tuesday.
I appreciate your help. Thanks,
Teresa. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, with that lead call, Teresa actually did come in, and she came in with her mother. They did place a retainer that day. It's important that when you're concluding the appointment, you begin to prepare them for what to expect during the appointment. Because if you can get them ready for the next step, then they'll be more likely to come with their checkbook or their credit card or prepared to place a retainer. Whenever you're dealing with an incoming inquiry, the bottom line is your first goal is to gather their information. Your second goal is to get them off pricing, and your third goal is to lead them to the appointment. You want to take them to the next step and follow through. Let's try another incoming call and see how it goes.
Jeff Hawkins Photography, can I help you?
Yeah, hi, I'm calling to get some prices on some wedding packages.
Great. My name's Kathleen. What is your name?
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Okay. Well, congratulations on your upcoming wedding. When is your wedding date? Let me check that availability for you.
It's February 12th.
February 12th. Okay, can you hold on just one more moment and let me check and see if we're open? Where's your wedding going to be held at?
The Ritz-Carlton.
The Ritz-Carlton? That's a beautiful location. Okay, so I have February 12th of 2005, and yes, at this time, both Jeff and our associate are still available to assist you. Have you had a chance to view our website?
Yes, actually.
Okay, wonderful. And do you remember how you heard about us?
From my flower vendor.
Okay, terrific. All right, well, wonderful. Well, we would love to work with you. What type of coverage are you looking for? Do you have any idea as to what you're in need of? 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, unlimited?
No, I'm not really sure. I know that I think I want him there from when I get ready until probably the middle of the reception.
Okay. And are you having the ceremony and the reception at the Ritz?
Yes.
Okay, great. Are you going to have an outside ceremony there?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Okay. Yeah, well, you shouldn't have a problem in February. Usually it doesn't rain there, but no matter where you're at the Ritz, you're going to get a beautiful, it's a beautiful venue, a beautiful location. So
right.
Even if it does rain, you're still going to have a beautiful ceremony and reception there. Do you live in the Central Florida area, Lindsay?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Okay, what I would recommend that we do is see if we can schedule a time for you to come into the studio and sit down and meet with Jeff personally and take a closer look at our images and our gallery and just kind of chat with them a little bit about what you're looking for. And then this way you can see if the two of you, if your personalities mesh well together and hopefully give you one less thing to worry about between now and February. How does that sound to you?
Okay, that sounds great. I do have a question, though. Do you guys do engagement pictures?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that is included when you hire our services. It gives you a chance to be able to work together prior to, which is something that we strongly recommend. Are you having an engagement party, or are you looking for something specific with your engagement session images?
No, I just know I wanted to get some pictures done with before the wedding. I've seen them, like on your website and stuff.
Okay, all right, not a problem. What's usually best for you for a consultation, morning, afternoon, or evening?
Probably evening.
Evening, okay. The beginning of the week or the end of the week?
The beginning.
The beginning, okay. Looking at, looks like next week will be full in the evening. We can do Monday the 16th at 7 o'clock, if that would work for you, or Tuesday the 17th at 6 o'clock. Which one of those days would be better for you?
Probably Tuesday.
Tuesday at 6 p.m. then.
Okay.
Okay, and Lindsay, can I get your contact phone number just in case I need to get in touch with you for whatever reason?
Sure, it's 407.
Okay. Okay, and do you have access to an email address where I can email you directions to the studio?
Sure.
Okay, and what is your email address?
It's ANID as in dog.
Uh-huh. Okay, fabulous. Okay, I have you scheduled then for August 17th at 6 p.m., and I'll be here as well. My name is Kathleen, like I said, and you'll also get a chance to meet with Jeff personally, and we'll just kind of sit down a little bit and talk about what you're looking for. You'll take a look at the different albums and hopefully give you one less thing to worry about. Now, if you do decide to lock in our services, there's a $1,000 retainer. That does two things for you. It locks in the current pricing for up to 2 months after your event, but it also locks in the date from beginning to end. So like you said, you wanted someone to cover the beginning of the ceremony or the beginning of you getting ready through the end of your reception. There will be no time limit, so it'll lock in Jeff from the very beginning of your day to the very end of your day. Okay, as long as there's activities that are planned. So feel free to bring your fiancé. What's your fiancé's name?
Joe.
Okay, feel free to bring your fiancé or your mom or your dad, whoever you would like, whoever's going to help you in this process. And I look forward to meeting with you soon.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's take a closer look at that. The first question out of Lindsay's mouth was, what are your prices on your packages? Now, many studio owners or many people would naturally respond with the answer to that question. However, if you answer her question with a question, you're taking the focus off of what she's looking at and what she thinks she needs to know and putting it on what you need to know in order to take her to where you want her to go. By asking her, well, let me first check and see when your wedding date is to find out if we're available, now we're taking her down a different path. The other thing that you might have noticed is when she said that she heard about us through a flower vendor, I didn't necessarily ask which vendor. If it was any other location other than the Ritz, then I probably would have done that. And that would have been a very vital thing to know, because you need to analyze where your lead sources are coming from and where your referrals are. However, remember how we talked about making sure that you know the people in your community, making sure that you understand their rules and their policies? I happen to know that there is a florist that actually works out of the Ritz, and it's the only person that their vendors are allowed to use. So they keep everything in-house, and the decorations are actually part of the event. Having bypassed her questions about price and taking her down the path to the appointment, we then proceeded to schedule the appointment time. Now, if you noticed, I said that we were already booked in the evening slots this week, so we went on to the next week. As a rule of caution, though, you want to be careful not to schedule people more than 2 weeks in advance. If you schedule someone more than 2 weeks away, they're going to be less likely to actually show, and your cancellation rates will increase. Let's take another look at incoming calls. They're not always as cooperative or as convenient, and sometimes they may throw different challenges your way.
Jeff Hawkins Photography, can I help you?
Yeah, hi, my name's Kevin, and I was wondering if you do weddings.
Okay, yes. Are you looking for a wedding photographer?
Yes, I am.
Fabulous, Kevin. First, I do need to let you know that this call may be monitored for training and development purposes. Is that all right with you?
That should be all right.
Okay, and when is your wedding date, Kevin?
It'll be November the 12th next year.
Of next year. Fabulous. Okay, my name is Kathleen. Thank you for calling. How did you hear about us?
Well, I was looking through one of those wedding guides, and my wife, to-be, told me that I'd probably call it and get some prices.
Okay, so your fiancé asked you to give us a call. That's wonderful. And where's your wedding going to be held at? Have you selected a location yet?
Well, we're working on a couple different places right now. We're down there at Mead Gardens or over at Lou Gardens. We're not sure.
Okay, both of those are wonderful. They're beautiful facilities. So you're going to have your ceremony and the reception at the same location, you think, right now?
That's what I would like, but
okay.
She's going to tell me what to do.
Well, you know what? Then you'll have a wonderful marriage. Things will work out well for you. Do you remember how? Okay, you heard about us through the wedding guide. Do you know if you or your fiancé have been to our website as of yet?
She might have. I don't have access to it.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Do you live in the Central Florida area, Kevin?
Yes, we live out in Buffalo, out that way.
Okay. All right. Well, not too terribly far from our studio. We have a studio located in the Longwood Historic District. What I would recommend that you do, especially since you're not sure if your wife has seen our work as of yet, other than in the guide, and that really doesn't do our gallery justice or our portfolios justice, what I would recommend that we do, Kevin, is that we schedule a time for you and your fiancé to come down to the studio and to sit down and meet with Jeff personally and take a closer look at our albums and the different options that you have as far as your style of coverage is concerned. But most of all, to get to know Jeff and for him to get to know you, to see if the two of you guys would be able to work well together. How does that sound to you?
Well, pretty good. How much are your packages?
Okay, we don't have packages. All of our pricing levels are going to be customized to meet your needs. Do you have any idea what type of budget that you're going to be working with?
No, I don't. I don't want to spend a lot of money on pictures, but, it's one of those things that whatever she wants.
Right. Well, you are a very smart man. I understand. Photography, all in all, is a very educational process. And, just to kind of give you an idea, we have $500 albums and we have $5,000 albums. And all of those album pricing is going to fluctuate and vary depending upon, how many images that you put in it, whether or not you're a big picture person or you're a small picture person. So those are all factors that will take place and will go into helping create a package that's right for you. Rather than having like a cookie-cutter approach to creating your pricing level, what we'll do is when you meet with Jeff is we'll sit down and we'll take a look at the products and we'll take a look at what coverage is important to your fiance if she wants us there prior to the event and through the conclusion of the event, and what album styles jump out at you, and then we'll customize a pricing level that fits your needs. How does that sound to you?
Pretty good.
Okay, wonderful.
When can we come on in? And I
Sure.
know she wanted me to ask, do we get the negatives?
Okay, well, that would all, of course, depend upon what kind of pricing level that we create for you. But if keeping the access to and copyrights to the files is important to you, I'm sure that we can create a level that would fit your needs. What's usually best for you guys for consultations, mornings, afternoons, or evening?
I work during the day, so probably evening.
Okay, probably in the evening. Okay, not a problem. The beginning of the week or the end of the week?
Probably towards the end.
Probably towards the end, okay. Then what we could do is we could take a look at Thursday night, the 12th, at 7 o'clock, or Monday night, actually, nope. Let's see, Tuesday night, the 17th at 7 o'clock. Would either one of those times work for you?
Well, I'm going to try, but you got anything on Friday night?
On Friday nights. On Friday nights, simply because we do work every Saturdays with our weddings, our office closes at 5. What's the earliest time that you could be here?
Probably we get off a little early Friday, but probably around 5.
Okay, well, the office would close at 5, so unless we scheduled something at 4, nobody would be here. Would you be able to get off at about 3:30 and make it here by 4 o'clock?
Well, I could try. If she can do it, then she can do it by herself, I guess.
Okay. Is there a phone number where I can reach your fiance just in case I need to get a hold of her?
Yep, you can try her at the house, I guess.
Okay, and what is your home phone number there, Kevin?
407. 365.
Okay. Okay. And what is your fiance's name?
Her name's Beverly.
Beverly? Okay, fabulous. So do you want to tentatively schedule an appointment for Friday the 13th at 4 o'clock?
Yeah, I'd go ahead and do that. If there's any problem, she can call back.
Okay, and we'll also have our office, as a courtesy, give you a call the day before just to confirm that time and make sure everything is right. Now, keep in mind the dates are not secured until a retainer's placed, so you don't want to wait too long before you lock it up. But we'll go ahead and touch base, and then I'll also get in touch with Beverly prior to and just make sure everything's fine. Okay, let me see here. So Friday afternoon, do you have access to an email address where I can email you directions?
No, don't have one.
Okay, then do you want us just to give them to Beverly over the phone when we call to confirm?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay, wonderful. Well, please do me a favor and let Beverly know that we've got an appointment then on Friday, the 13th at 4 p.m. We'll sit down and chat a little bit. We'll go over our album options, and we'll customize a pricing level that fits your needs. Okay?
All righty.
All right, well, thank you for calling and telling you did your job and you did what she asked you to do, and we look forward to meeting with you and hopefully giving you one less thing to worry about.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a great day. Bye.
Like most incoming phone calls, Kevin started this conversation with a question about pricing and about packaging. By taking the question away with another question, responding with information about their event, you're able to personalize their wants and needs and build the benefit more. Now, if you noticed, Kevin wasn't the person that I needed to be talking to. The ultimate goal and the only thing that would have been effective is for me to get his phone number and his wife's name. He referenced several times that he wasn't sure. He was doing what his wife told him to. It wasn't his event, it was more her event, that he had to check with her to find out what she wanted. So it really didn't do me any good to talk to him a lot about what our services were because he wasn't the decision maker. You have to get past the gatekeeper to get to the decision maker to get to the sale. Make sure that you ask the questions, you find out their wants and needs, and still attempt to schedule an appointment, but realize that there is no chance of that appointment actually holding if you don't follow up and talk to the decision maker and confirm it with them and solidify it a little bit more, which is why it's so important to make sure that you confirm all of your consultations beforehand so you're not sitting around waiting for something to happen. Instead, you're making it happen. There was a time when you weren't able to sell someone over the phone, when you had to get them into your studio or into your business so they can see the products and they can see your services. Well, things have changed. With the help of the internet, you can now sell them at a distance if you need to. Of course, your ultimate goal is to get together with them face to face, but if required, you can do it at a distance. Let's talk about what's required involved with your website in order to do this. You need to have a current website that has access to a portfolio. You need to have on your website images of the different products that you have to offer. Everything that you would normally show them in the studio should be displayed on your website, so if needed, you can walk them through each one of those phases and each step. What you're going to focus on, though, is not selling products, because ultimately they need to look and they need to touch and they need to feel the different samples to really understand the difference between a $500 album and a $5,000 album, or between the different benefits of each one of those products. The first step to handling out-of-town prospects is using the internet and using email correspondence to consult with them. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll send a general information, or I'll tell her I'm sending her a general information if they're calling in. But then the next thing that we're going to focus on is we're going to focus on selling the service. You know, as technology changes and as scanners become more prevalent and as copyright violation becomes more of a problem, you can discourage it, but it's still out there. So we really do need to shift our focus and put our focus more on the services that we offer and less on the packages or the products that are coming within those packages. Focusing on selling the service means they've seen your website, they like your work, they like the benefits of coming with your studio, they can book you. So the only question is, how do you want to place the retainer? When you're talking to them over the phone, ask questions, and ask more questions. Make sure that you talk to them about their needs so you can customize a service level or a service price for them. Email them a copy of everything that you're going to discuss over the phone to avoid miscommunication or misunderstandings or misinterpretations of what you say. Once you've done that, then ask them for the retainer. Ask them to lock in the information or follow up in the future if they need to talk to their husband or to talk to the buying power or consult with them. And then what you're going to do once you've placed that retainer is, of course, lock in the date, but mail them the contract and a packet of all of your a la carte pricing. Let's take a look at an incoming lead call from someone that was from out of the area.
Hawkins Photography, can I help you?
Yes, I was calling about wedding photography.
Fabulous. And when is your wedding date?
It is May 21st, 05.
May 21st of next year. Where are you going to have your wedding at?
I was thinking about Disney, but I would love to get your opinion on that.
Okay, wonderful. Well, my name is Kathleen, and what was your name?
Liz.
Liz, okay, and it's May 21st of 05. First, let me check out our availability and see if we're available to assist you at that day.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful. We are still available on that day, both Jeff and our associate photographer. Talk to me a little bit about what you were thinking about as far as Disney was concerned. What is your hesitation? Have you looked at the wedding facility there so far?
Only online. I'm actually from out of town.
Okay. What area are you from, Liz?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Oh, interestingly enough, I think we have a wedding there the week before your event. We do travel all across the country, nationwide, so we'd be happy to help you wherever you choose your special event to be. Disney is a wonderful facility. I mean, it's definitely a fairy tale facility, and you can't go wrong. And there are a lot of different venues. How did you hear about us?
I was just doing a search online for photographers in Orlando.
Okay, so an internet search. And did you have a chance to view our website as of yet?
Yes.
Okay. All right, fabulous. And are you still in the Atlanta area now then? You actually live there now? Okay.
Yeah, we vacation to Orlando a lot, and honestly, my favorite is probably SeaWorld, but I figure for a wedding, Disney's probably better.
Okay. Actually, you know what? The SeaWorld functions, I do not believe that they're holding wedding events there anymore. So Disney is definitely probably going to be a better choice for you there. Talk to me a little bit about what is important to you as far as photography is concerned. Are you a big picture person, or are you a small picture person, or are you just looking for quality and maybe not quantity? Do you have any idea as far as that's concerned yet?
Probably more quality than quantity, but
okay.
I want the event captured and, to just tell the story of the day.
Okay.
I love photojournalism, and, probably some traditional photographs as well. But I just want, at the end of the day, I want to look back through the pictures and, remember everything from the photograph.
Okay, well, that's important, and it sounds like you've started educating yourself a little bit on the difference of photography, whether it be photojournalistic or traditional style coverage. What is your fiance's name, Liz?
Jason.
Jason. Okay, when are you and Jason going to be visiting the Central Florida area again?
We should be down, I think, Thanksgiving.
Okay, Thanksgiving weekend. All right, I can tell you that so far the first several Saturdays in the month of May for 2005 have already booked. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you and Jason wait until Thanksgiving weekend in order to secure your special day. Because there's so many things that are indecisive and up in the air at the moment, it would probably be best for us just to talk about the basic needs for you.
Right.
And then if you and your fiancé decided to lock in our services, when you come down in Thanksgiving, you could work out all the rest of the details as far as like what album style would be best for you or what type of product. We can customize a pricing level that would fit your needs at that time.
Okay.
But in the meantime, let me just explain to you as far as some of the benefits of hiring Jeff. And actually, do you have access to email, Liz?
Yes.
Okay. Let me get your email address, and I'll email you directions, or I'll email you some general information. That way you'll have it so we can chat and we can start this process for you. What is your email address there?
It is.
What I want you to notice is whenever you're going through a lot of information, it's important to keep the dialogue back and forth. It's important to talk a little bit and conclude your segment with a question, and then give her a chance to respond to break it up a little bit. So at this point, notice the dialogue and watch the conversation go back and forth. Break up your conversation with a series of questions. Even write down a list of questions and memorize them to make it more comfortable for you.
All right, what I'll do is I'll send you over some basic information. What we have done is there was a time when we had a pricing level where we had set packages, and the packages, would range anywhere from $3,000 on up, depending upon what was included in them. But more and more, as you're probably aware of, more and more, different people have different situations. You may want parent albums, you may not want parent albums. All of those are things that are going to affect your pricing level and your package that's right for you. Do you have any idea if you're definitely interested in an album or parent albums? Have you thought about that yet?
I know I'm interested in an album. I'm not sure about a parent album yet or not. If I do that, I'll probably let my parents decide. But.
Okay, choose that on their own then. And that's what we found, is so many people were doing different things, and the cookie cutter packages weren't working, so we could customize a look that's right for you. Just to kind of put it in perspective, we have $500 albums, and then we have $5,000 albums. So depending upon what style of album you choose will drastically change your pricing level. I can tell you, though, in order to secure the basic level of services by Jeff Hawkins, you would place a $1,000 retainer. That would do two things, and it's great that you're starting your search so early, because the first thing that would do is it would lock in your pricing levels for up to 2 months following the date of the event. So that means that if there is any pricing change between now and, next year at this time, it would be absorbed by us and not by you. The second thing that does is it locks in your date for the entire day. We only do one wedding a day. So once you place that retainer, then you can worry about between now and Thanksgiving when you come down what time your ceremony is going to start and exactly where it's going to be located, because you'll know you'll have us from the beginning to the end of your function, regardless of what's involved with that. In order to secure the basic level, like I said, there's a $1,000 retainer. The premier level, which is coverage by Jeff with an assistant, it gives you all of the things that makes our studio different, and I sent you an email already that explains all of these detailed items. But pretty much to sum it up, it gives you, to start with, an engagement portrait session. That gives you a chance to work with Jeff prior to. So what I would recommend that we do is when you come here, we could schedule a time for you to do your engagement portrait session up front. And then that way when you're here, you can do that, and then you can come in and look at the albums and view your engagement images at the same time. But it also makes you part of what's called our Lifetime Portrait Program membership. You said that you and Jason come down to the Disney area quite often. The Lifetime Portrait Program membership would benefit you whether it's here or in Atlanta, because what that means is for the rest of your life, or ours, that's the only clause, it has to be whichever lasts longer, you will receive complimentary portrait sessions. See, when you hire us to do your wedding photography, you're not just hiring us to cover your wedding, you're hiring us to be your family photographer for a lifetime. Do you guys plan on having children someday?
Hope so.
Okay, yeah. A lot of times that gives the grooms, they start choking up when you ask them that question. But even if it's just a dream, a couple years from now, or even if you have pets that you would consider your children, anytime you come to Orlando or anytime we come to Atlanta, you would be notified. And anytime you come to Orlando, you can notify us, and you would be eligible to receive complimentary family portrait sessions. What you get out of those sessions is entirely up to you. If you just want, a $30 8x10, then that's your choice. But that's really great because it helps us develop bonds. Like yesterday, I photographed one of our brides who got married, I think a year ago in April, and I went to the hospital and photographed their newborn baby. So we'll grow as your family starts growing. The other thing that the $2,500 gives you is the no time limits, no image limits, just with an assistant, online ordering, proofing CDs, which will make things so much easier for your family and friends, so you don't have to ship proof books, back and forth all across the country. And all of our images that come out of your event will all be customly artist rendered. They'll be modified and rendered based upon your personality and your taste to create the image that makes our studio unique. So to sum all that up, what is the easiest thing for you, and I emailed this so you can share this with Jason, is if you wanted to give yourself one less thing to worry about, since you've already seen our work on the website, then what you would do is you would lock in the $1,000 retainer. There would be a $1,500 balance that would be due a week before your event, and you can worry about what else you add on to that, and if you want parent albums and all of those things anytime between now and next May. But this way you can, even look and take a closer look at that once you do your engagement session coming up in November when you're here for Thanksgiving. How does that sound to you?
That sounds good. How long do you think, you guys would have before you book that date? Like if I wanted to maybe, think about it for a couple of weeks or something, or can you put me on a call me first list or anything? Or?
Unfortunately, because there are so many people that take phone calls here, it would be too much of a liability for us to put your name on a call me list, because I wouldn't want anything to cross paths. And I do know that we have already interviewed for that date already. I just pulled up the calendar, and right now for May of 2005, the 7th and the 14th are already booked. I do know we are booking through the end of 2005. Now, I can tell you, Liz, that I always tell my brides that you don't ever want to procrastinate, but you also want to follow your heart with what you're doing. And I would just say that take a chance and look at the email, discuss it with Jason, and I would encourage you to give me a call back sometime within the next 24 to 48 hours just to make sure that there is no problem with that. We have several weddings tomorrow, so I know that it most likely will not be booked until tomorrow. But it is first come, first serve, and it's whoever locks in that retainer first would be locking in that date. So don't procrastinate, but follow your gut, and you don't want to feel pressured either. Is there any reason why we couldn't go ahead? What's holding you back? Have I answered all your questions?
Yeah, most everything. I just need to talk to Jason and just confirm budgetary and all that good stuff.
Okay.
It's something I could probably do in the next few days.
Okay. Well, I'm a firm believer that when a woman wants something bad enough, they find a way or make a way to make it happen. So, like I said, just follow your heart. I sent you the email already. If for some reason you don't have it the next time you check your emails, give me a call back and let me know. And once you get it, too, if you have any additional questions, then we can go over each one of those features that come with that basic level. But I can tell you one of the great things about having no time limits or image limits, especially being at Disney, is there's so many details to capture, and there are so many beautiful, intimate things. And since you mentioned you like the photojournalistic style, you'll definitely be able to have that. The last Disney wedding that we had nearly 1,400 images from the event. So there's definitely a lot to capture, and you don't want any kind of plan that's going to hold you back and not permit you to be able to do that. Okay, well, do me a favor. Just give me a call back. My name is Kathleen. And is it okay? Do I have your permission to give you a call back sometime next week and just see if you have any more questions or if there's anything that you or Jason came up with that I might be able to help you with?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Well, I'll touch base with you next Monday or Tuesday. And in the meantime, if you make a decision before then and if you're ready to move forward, just give me a call and we can lock in that retainer with the credit card. And then I'll send you a packet with all of our information and our contract and everything else that you would need to know in order to, get everything ready for your special day.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
In this example, this client was from out of the area. So we had to talk to her a little bit more about what her wants and needs were and then focus on selling the service. See, if we would have waited until she was going to be visiting the Central Florida area again, it would be for several months. And by that time, she would either no longer be a hot prospect or the date would have already been secured. So talking to her about what her wants and needs are, but focusing on selling the services is the avenue that you need to travel down in order to secure the date. Now, if you listen to the way she talked, her tonality was a little softer. She was a little bit more even-toned and laid back in her responses. But yet she asked a lot of questions, what to me meant she was more of a detailed, task-oriented person. If she's more of a task-oriented person, then she's not going to make a decision at that moment. She referenced having to talk to her fiancé or husband-to-be, but I don't know if that was really the answer. I think what she wanted to do is she wanted to see the email. She wanted to analyze it. She wanted to study the value and then make a decision from there. She wanted to make sure that it was the benefit and the services that she was looking for. The key to this call is actually following up. I didn't want to wait for her to get back to me. I wanted to get permission and approval for me to call her back. Next week, I'm going to call her back and just say, did you have a chance to look at the email? Do you have any additional questions? What will we need to do to move forward and secure our services and give you one less thing to worry about in regards to your special day? Now, what I want you to do is listen to some more phone calls and analyze those. Analyze how well they went. Analyze where I might have messed up. Analyze what we could have done differently. And analyze how they responded and why I responded to their responses in the ways that we did.
Jeff Hawkins Photography, this is Lauren. Hi, is Kathleen available? May I ask who's calling? This is Toya Griffin. Toya Griffin? Yes. Okay, hold on one second, please. Thanks.
Hi, thank you so much for getting back with me so fast.
No problem. Thanks. I was just in the shower, so.
Okay, well, hopefully I'll be able to help you out. You've got a beautiful location. The Renaissance Resort is just a phenomenal facility.
Yes, I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome. I do have to let you know that this call may be recorded for training and development purposes. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for as far as photography is concerned. Have you started educating yourself on this process already?
Not too much. Mostly my fiance's been out of town, and he's going to be for another few weeks, and he really wants to be a part of selecting the photographers, so I've only really minimally looked into them. But I was given your name by Lo and Behold.
Okay, great. Are they doing your flowers?
We haven't signed anything yet, but they're working a proposal for me right now.
Okay, they're wonderful. Their flowers are always phenomenal. We just had an open house gala here, and they just did an incredible job. So
yeah.
I definitely recommend them.
Great.
What are you looking for as far as, or tell me about your day, you're going to have a ceremony. Have you chosen the
we're looking at churches right now. We haven't selected one yet,
okay.
And if that doesn't work out, hopefully we'll just do the ceremony at the Renaissance, also in the atrium there.
Right, that's beautiful.
Yes, and as far as photographers, I've just heard from friends who've been married that they, to have at least two, one who's doing candid shots and then one who's doing the pose shots, and I'm not sure how you guys coordinate all that.
Okay.
But, do you do videography also?
We don't, but I can recommend you to some videographers that you might be interested in using.
Okay.
There are a couple of guys that we work with in town that actually mirror the type of photography style that we do,
right.
And they're easy to work with, and it's usually a nice complement to your still photography.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were thinking of too, because we want to make sure that both the photographer and the videographer can work together, and they're not, stepping on each other's feet. I've heard that's been problems in other ceremonies. So.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to kind of move in the same direction and not pose as obstacles to each other, or have your flashes or your lights or whatever conflict with the images and what you're capturing.
Right.
So you're looking at, are you going to have a traditional reception, or?
Yes, it's going to be dinner, dancing, drinking.
Do you know if you're going to have a band or a DJ?
We haven't decided yet. I'd really like to have a band, but it's sort of, depends if it fits into our budget.
Okay. If you would like, what I can do is I can email you some recommendations on both a band and a DJ, as well as the videographers.
That would be wonderful.
Is the email address right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, I can do that. Okay, so you're pretty much looking at an unlimited amount of time, or not having a set time limit, especially if you're having a traditional ceremony and a reception.
Right. What I'd like to have is a photographer available to take pictures as the bridesmaids and I are getting ready before the ceremony, and then all throughout, you know.
Okay. When you hire Jeff, you're automatically going to be hiring him with no time limits. Okay. So that's the only way that he'll capture, because as long as an event's being taken place, it's part of your day. And if it's part of your day, it's part of your story and the documentary that comes with that story. So typically what we would recommend that we do is start 2 hours prior to and capture everybody, you know, your mom seeing you in your dress for the first time, or, you know, even if it's just your, you know, your shoes and your garter and your earrings and all your accessories, you know, laying on your bed, or you putting on your makeup or putting your veil on. All of those things make wonderful forms of documentary to your storybook or to your album, and help set it up. And then with the guys, especially if you do decide to have your ceremony at the Renaissance, with the guys, what you can do is, if they're at the same hotel, you know, getting ready, or as they start to arrive, then we can have the assistant go capture one of, you know, be with the guys and Jeff be with you guys, or vice versa. Now, you have a couple of different options when you hire a studio. You can either hire Jeff with an assistant who is an associate photographer in training, or you can have Jeff with an associate photographer, and then they would usually have one or two assistants depending upon the amount of people at your event and the locations that we're going to. And those are all things that we can take a look at later. How many people are you planning on, you know, being at your ceremony and reception?
175.
Okay, so you might not need 2 associate photographers. An assistant might, you know, be just as beneficial for you. Lauren is the assistant that works with Jeff now, and she's been here for a couple years and does a great job. You just have to have at least 3 to 4 years worth of experience with Jeff before he'll allow you to cover or to become an associate photographer of the studio. But, you know, they'll both have
all your pictures online, and they all look beautiful.
Oh, well, great.
I'm very happy with all of them.
Well, good.
Yeah.
When you said your fiance's out of town right now, he'll be back in a couple of weeks. Is that what you mentioned?
Yeah, he'll be back in September, but he's in medical school and he's in his last year, so he's pretty busy. He's got a hectic schedule, so we're looking like for October to be going to Orlando to finalize, you know, florist and photographer and things like that.
Okay. What area of town are you located in? Are you in the Gainesville area? Or?
Yes, I'm in Gainesville. Yeah.
Okay. I guessed by the area code. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What I would recommend, and I'll send you some basic information via email, but what I would recommend that we do is we take a look at if we can get together in October when your fiance comes down. We are currently booking in 2005 at the moment, and we do have, I know just because I just had to tell someone we were already booked that day, the 25th. Yeah, the 25th and then July 2nd are currently booked. The first 3 Saturdays in July or in June right now are open.
So the 11th is available right now.
Right now it is. Yes, it is first come first serve.
Right.
And what I can do is I can email you the basic photography information. What we do a lot of times, because we do a lot of people that are either from out of the area or maybe booking at a distance, or their parents are at a distance or whatever, I can email you the basic level of service, like the fee for just hiring our studio.
Okay.
And everything that's included with that. That level is $2,500.
Okay.
There's a $1,000 retainer, and that retainer does 2 things. It locks in the date of the event, and it also locks in the current pricing for up to 2 months following the event. Okay, so that's a big bonus, because I can almost bet you the labs or the album companies will have a price increase in January.
Right.
But what you could do is, if you wanted to let your fiance take a look at our website and review the basic level of service, then if you had, you know, you like the images, you like the feel of what our studio is offering you, you could always lock in that retainer, and then that will lock in the entire day for you, and like I mentioned, the pricing for you. Then in October, when you came down here, we could do your engagement session, or we can meet with you and go over all of your album options, all of your product options, all of the other things that you may choose to a la carte or add, or, you know, you can do that before or after the wedding. That would be up to you.
Okay.
But then we can go through all the you know, intimate details of your event.
Okay. So let me just ask you really quick: is the engagement session included in the $2,500?
Yes. Yes, and you actually get more than just the engagement session. You get what's called our Lifetime Portrait Program membership, and that is a huge bonus to hiring our studio, simply because even if you live in the Gainesville area, or even if you travel, we travel all over the nation because we speak throughout the nation. But the Lifetime Portrait Program membership means you will have the ability to come to our studio at any time for the rest of your life, or ours, whichever lasts longer, that's the only clause, and receive complimentary portrait sessions. Now, the dates and the times, of course, are subject to availability.
Right.
But it starts with your engagement session. If you chose to do a formal bridal portrait session, you could do that. If you guys end up moving to a different state, then anytime we go to that state to do a speaking engagement, then we'll contact you. It starts with your engagement session, and then it continues as long as you want. Also, what you're looking at is there's no time limits, no image limits. You get Jeff and an assistant photographer, online ordering, which will make it easier, especially if you have people coming in from out of town. Now, it's privacy protected. A lot of photographers don't do that, but we think it's important to protect your images so the world can't see them.
Right.
So only people that you give the password to will be able to access that. You get proofing CDs that you can make as many copies of as you want. And a lot of times what our clients will do is put them in their thank you notes and send them out to everybody so everybody can see the images from their event.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have music because there's usually, 800 to 1,000 images on it.
Right.
But it's a proofing CD broken down into categories. You have the Lifetime Portrait Program, and then let me see what else we do that's a little bit unique. The ability of the engagement session. All of our images that go out of the studio are rendered by Jeff, which is why the associate portfolio and then the portfolio by Jeff Hawkins look so similar, because every image that's done in the studio, you'll go through a consultation session with us, and we'll talk about what style you like. Do you like something really contemporary, or are you more traditional? And then we'll render those images to get the look that appeals to you the most.
Right. Okay.
But that kind of gives you like the basic advantages of our studio and how we work, and then we can go and we can personalize a package for you, and we can customize something for you when your fiance comes back into town, that fits your needs a little bit more.
Well, it seems like I'm really interested in finding out what everything is included in the $2,500.
Okay.
You said you could email that to me?
I already did.
Okay.
So the next time you check your email, it should be there for you.
Okay.
And then again, once you review that, if you send your fiance to the website and he has a chance to review it, then once you decide whether or not, I like the feel, if you, want to lock in the date just because it is first come, first serve, then we can worry about all the other details later. I'll send you a huge packet and a contract for now, but then when you come down in October, we can customize a little bit more for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. Well, wonderful. Well, I look forward to talking to you again soon. My name is Kathleen, so just give me a call back if you have any other questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Kathleen.
You're welcome, Tori. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I hope this series has been as helpful to you as it has been to us. When we initially started this project, we did it because we needed a form of training for our staff. We needed to make sure that we had key people in position that were ready and able to answer the phone in a professional manner and respond to inquiries and conduct consultations and meet with people. Meet with them in doing more than just going through a canned or a rehearsed set of questions, but actually hearing the answers to those questions and understanding that everybody wears a sign that says, "Make me feel special." Just sitting back and tape recording these conversations ourselves and tape recording our consultations ourselves has been very educational. We spent, less than $100 on a recorder from Radio Shack, and I'll tell you what, this was a great investment. I encourage you to do the same thing, because hearing the way I responded taught me a lot too. So don't be afraid to reevaluate yourself. Don't be afraid to take a step back and to look at your business and apply critical thinking skills and actually evaluate where you can improve, not only yourself, but your employees and your staff. Keep in mind that there's always room for advancement, and keep in mind that if you ever stop seeing people as people and instead you start seeing them as the same old prospects and every bride is the same and nothing ever changes, then you're losing your passion, you're losing your excitement. See, when you take a look at what you're doing, especially with something as powerful as photography, we have a gift. And the people that you're capturing and the things that you're doing, you're creating more than an heirloom or a legacy, you're creating a memory. Because every life that you photograph will eventually end. So that image has a bigger value than you can ever imagine. But everybody that you document and everybody that you talk to is also very significant and very special. So if you're no longer seeing people as people, then you need to make a serious change in your business. Everybody wears a sign that says, "Make me feel special," including you.